Hey everyone, this is Jemmy from Curve the Cube. Welcome to the 35th episode. Curve the Cube is a South Florida podcast hoping to inspire you to pursue your dreams, brought to you by Flintstone Media, basically me. And today I have a super duper awesome guest on the intro, Mr. Papa J Cintron, aka Captain KVJ, aka Minister PJ. What up?
Yo, what up, my people out there? Check this out. Today's episode is gonna be the bomb.
It is so the bomb.
Yeah, no doubt. It's gonna be with my main man, JDUB, in the house. You know what I mean? Check it out, yo. No doubt. You won't be disappointed.
Woo! Yep, so J-Dub is Jeff Williams. He is a friend of Pop J Cintron. And so Jay did this introduction for me, made a connection, and I got to interview this guy, and he is phenomenal. He is a Christian hip-hop artist who is just really, really doing some awesome things. His music is so good. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Doubt.
He played some songs for me after the podcast was over, and blew my mind.
Yo, he got skills.
Mad skills.
He got skills. I'm telling you, when I first heard him, I was like, yo, this cat is the bomb. And then when I first met him, I was like, yo, he's a nice cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But real great guy.
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yo, he could spin anything. Yo, you could tell him refrigerator. He could come out with a rhyme with refrigerator.
Well, he was on VH1. He got to be on VH1 for freestyling stuff. Yeah, he's dope. So dope. And he has a new album that's coming out. He's hoping to have it come out still this year, but it's just simply called the 5 album. So I expect everybody to keep watch, sign up for the newsletter. That's the best way to do it, and just go to jdub561.com to follow him. You can catch all his social media there too. But he's absolutely amazing. You guys are really gonna be. This podcast is super insightful. It's really cool because he's using his talent for a message that he's really passionate about. So, you know, my podcast is all about inspiring people, and you're bringing an inspiration of music with the inspiration of faith, and he's putting them together, and it's just really cool to see how he does it.
Where it's a different type of form of ministry out there. A lot of people ain't never seen before, so it's fairly new out there, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're gonna really like it. And Jay's actually chilling with me today on the couch. We're at my house because I had to introduce you to Orphan Black.
We're Orphan Black, baby.
You never even heard of the show before, have you?
Never heard of it. I'm not a fan of British TV, television shows. But this one here caught my eye, yo.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's really good. If you guys haven't seen Orphan Black, I'm just kind of doing a free commercial for them right now. It's BBC America. They're in between seasons right now. I think they just closed out the 3rd. But it's unbelievable. The acting on the show is incredible. I've just never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to speak British.
Speak British?
Yeah.
Let's hear your best. Say, hello, how are you?
Hello, mate. How are you? That's it. That's what I got for you out there. You know what I mean?
Hey, governor.
Yeah. Oh, and on top of that, they all Canadians, want to be British. So
It's filmed in Canada, and they're all Canadian actors.
And it's funny because they driving their cars. They make believe they're in New York. We're Quebec license plates. Get out of here. You know what I mean? But it's all good though. I enjoy it.
It's a really good show. But yeah, so I'm glad to have him on the intro. It's really cool, especially when I get to, I'm just starting to do this now with having guests on the intro. And it's cool to have someone who knows my guests. So, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And on top of that, some little trivia. J-Dub is doing a theme song for me for the Captain KVJ theme. So I can't wait for it to be released, and it's going to be off the chart, yo.
What? I didn't know that.
Wow, I'm dead
Breaking
serious.
news, man.
Breaking news right here, yo. You know what I mean? Curve the Cube said it first, yo.
That's right. You heard it here first. Don't you ever
That's
forget
what I'm
it.
talking about.
So this episode is brought to you by Little Smiles. Little Smiles is an incredible sponsor of this podcast. They bring smiles to little kids. So little kids who are sick or who are going through a serious financial issue or are homeless or just any kind of number of difficulties, Little Smiles steps in and really tries to help them out. So I thank Little Smiles for being on this podcast, and you guys can thank Little Smiles for helping keep this podcast free. By helping them out. Go to littlesmiles.org if you just want to make a straight donation, or you can buy some gear and use the promo code CurvedSmiles and get a discount. and get some gear that way, and all those proceeds go to Little Smiles. And they also have a beer fest coming up that's seriously so much fun. You can go to palmbeachbeerfest.com to find out all the info, but it's on the 25th. It starts at 11:45. It runs until 5, and it's going to have some really cool, like a really cool lineup and everything. I'm pretty excited. Let's see. We have, what I'm looking forward to the most at that lineup has to be the snack pack.
That's what's up. Represent, baby.
I mean, okay, so I know Parachute's gonna be there and they're amazing, and I know people upstairs are gonna be there and they're phenomenal, but I really love my Jaybird and the VMK and the snack pack, and all you guys are awesome. So, and definitely Captain KVJ is gonna represent.
No doubt, kid. Come out.
Yeah.
Come out and say what's up. I need the hugs and the love, baby.
So there are 2 ways you can support Little Smiles through the beer fest. You can attend. It's just $40 a ticket. I mean, that's super cheap, and you get just beer all day long, just poured for you. It's flipping phenomenal. Lots of different craft beers and stuff. It's really cool and a lot of fun, and all that entertainment. Or you can sign up to volunteer for Little Smiles. So if you go to palmbeachsummerbeerfest.com and click on the Little Smiles logo in the top of the homepage, you can find out how to volunteer, and then you get into the beer fest for free, and you're helping out Little Smiles too. So it's like so many options to just help this amazing charity, because they do so much good, and they're local, so they do all the good that they do stays in the community here. So it's really important to support them, and support the guests I have on my podcast, like JDUB, and support and John Shay, Papa Jason Tron.
Yeah, no doubt, no
You've been
doubt.
a guest too.
No doubt, episode 30, baby.
That's right. Go check it out.
Go check it out. You know what I mean?
3-0. So go check out Papa J's episode after you check out this one with number 35 with J-Dub, Jeff Williams, phenomenal Christian hip hop artist. You're gonna love it. Peace out. Enjoy.
Alright, peace. One love.
Curve the cube will now initiate.
Hi.
So I got it right. Jimmy?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you. That's totally cool.
Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet
Hope
you.
this is okay. How's everything going?
Good, good. Very good.
I've never been in a Christ Fellowship before.
Oh, wow, cool.
And I knew they were big.
Yeah.
Crap, they're big. I walked in here, I was like, my jaw just like, I had to like kick it along the floor.
Yeah.
I was like floored.
I think big is an understatement.
I mean, and I love the dinosaurs.
He just did a sermon last week. He's doing a whole series based on movies.
Oh.
So last week's sermon was based on Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay. Actually, a friend of mine goes here,
Okay,
and he
cool.
was saying that they had like a movie night the other night, and
Yeah.
so he was talking about it. So maybe that was what they were playing, or something.
Yeah, they're doing the
but-
whole theme for this month or something, like different movies and
Yeah.
stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. How long have you been going here?
Really, I started going here back in '98 or so.
Okay.
But I moved up north probably around 2003 or 4, and they didn't have anything up north. Like now they have campuses.
Like north, like where? Like,
Palm City.
Oh, okay, so still in Florida, not like
yeah,
that
yeah,
state.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
Palm City. They actually do have a New York campus too.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
They have so many. I think there's one off of Biloxo, I want to say, which is closer to me. At least I think that's what it is.
They have a church in the mall. That's the one down south.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're I think in the Boynton Mall, maybe.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, they just put that together, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been doing really good too.
Yeah,
cool.
hella everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? They're just trying to spread the love and the message of Jesus,
course.
and that's what I'm all about. So
Of course. Yeah, so let's get to that, because on your homepage, I did my research.
All right.
And it says, his music will entertain you, inspire you, but most importantly, point you to the one true God, Jesus. So I wanted you to expand on that message and goal of your music.
yeah, I mean, pretty forthright and clear. My whole purpose. I think my whole purpose in life
Yeah.
is, according to what I've read in the Bible, is to spread the love and the message of Jesus and the hope of Jesus. So, in doing that, I gave my life to Jesus and I became a Christian when I was around 16. Okay, before that, I started rapping when I was about, 11 or 12. I got picked up when I was 13, started recording, started doing shows. and everything like that. But when I discovered who Jesus was and, gave my life to him, my focus shifted from a lot of the material things that my goals were to aiming my life towards Jesus, and that ultimately included my music. Not initially, but as the Lord continued to shape me and to grow me and to mature me in my understanding of the scriptures, I had to make a choice that this music that I was doing and performing was not honoring the God who I believed in. So I needed to stop that. But after reading and growing, in my heart, and I was just like, well, why can't I use my talent, my gifts, my desires for hip hop, but have the content of the music, the lyrics, honor and glorify him? And I mean, it's almost to a lot of people that are Christian or whatever might think that sounds like a no-brainer, but it was a huge stumbling block for me, or that I couldn't. To me, rapping was about partying, sex, and drugs, and money. Right. That was rapping.
Was it ever? Did you ever rap about violence and stuff too when you were little?
I was more of a partier when I was young,
yeah.
and party, and that kind of, chasing girls and chasing money, I wasn't, there's parts of me in my past that were violent, and I think in a few old school songs I talked about getting in fights, but I was never like a gangster rapper or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not my tip. Fighting growing up was just scrapping with people you got beef with. It was never about turf wars or something like that.
Yeah. No real gang stuff.
Yeah. You got a problem? Let's go. Whoever wins.
Oh, that's the way to do it. So they don't do it old school like that anymore.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, how long did it take for that transition to happen once you figured out that you owed your life to Christ? How long until you applied that to your music? How long was that transition?
Well, it was, I'd have to say it was at least a good year, to be honest with you. I mean, it was like a year of me, because, my older brother, Jeremy, literally dragged me to a Bible study.
Really?
Literally.
Kicking and screaming?
No, I wasn't screaming. He was threatening me. If I didn't go, I was going to get whooped on.
There you go.
There's a whole backstory on that, too.
Yeah.
Because my brother was really rough growing up, and so, he said, Jay, you're going to this Bible study. That's it, hands down. You got a problem? I'll handle it. So I was going to this Bible study, whether I liked it or not.
Right.
Long story short, go to the Bible study as a high school Bible study, and same thing that happened to him happened to me. I encountered Jesus. It wasn't church. It wasn't robes and choirs and everything that I thought church was.
Yeah.
It was this God who loved me and wanted to know me.
Isn't it an astounding concept when it hits you?
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. And so it was probably it was a summer school. I was going to summer school, and my brother was going to summer school. And that was a whole summer that I went to these morning Bible studies at a high school. Wow,
in the morning?
Yeah.
High schooler in the summer. That's impressive.
Yeah,
it must have really hit you hard.
Yeah, and then that's another thing. I didn't want to go to that because that was a social time,
Yeah.
This little summer school thing you're doing, and you hang out with your friends, but anyways, I had to go, period, dot, in the story. So after that end of that summer, my brother took me to a revival, and, there's a preacher and everything like that, and they said, if you're here today and you have not given your life to Christ, you need to do that now. And that's when I just felt the tug on my heart, like, some kind of giant fish hook was just pulling me to give my life to Christ. And so that took a summer, that transition. And then after that, I was still doing, my worldly music and things of that nature. And eventually I had to stop, and I actually had, I had to tell my manager, look, this is my new directive, and for the most part he was pretty cool with it, and but that relationship kind of just dissolved, and I had
less of a common ground, do you think, or was it?
I'm not sure. Not sure. It's just life takes you in paths and directions, and sometimes you turn corners. And it just is what it is. I've learned to grow. I'm very, very grateful for my manager and producer, Jeff Shepard, who taught me tons of the music industry. Very grateful for all that he did for me, and then, but I had to grow and I had to mature in my faith, and so there came a point in time where I said, not only don't want to do anything that doesn't glorify God, but I feel like I want to stop even listening to anything, because I was Snoop, Dre, all that classic hip hop stuff, but I had to become separated because that was just such a draw and connection to me, and once I was able to get away from that and really get into God's Word, and after about a year was like, hey, I have this experience, this life, and this knowledge in me, in Christ, that I feel that I can express in my music. So, I mean, you're probably looking about a 1.5 to 2 year process of that transformation.
What was, when you were going from worldly music, as you referred to it, to what the message-filled music, what was the biggest obstacle for that? Was it more inward, do you think, or was it more outward with the people
inward.
around you?
It was inward. I've never been, because if you're a hip hop artist, and that's one thing that probably drew me to hip hop, was that this is who I am, this is what I do. Yeah. You don't like it, get out of my face or do something about it. What I mean? That's how hip hop was. Yeah. So I was never like, when I came to Jesus and I found out, oh my gosh, this is what freaking life is all about. Yeah. Forget everything else. Yeah. I ain't got time for this, I ain't got time for that. And if you don't like it, so what? Yeah. So I mean, and I'm not trying to, say that I got a huge attitude problem, but it's just like, that's that. You knew your directive. I knew my directive. When I was seeking the worldly things, that was my directive. And after I found who God was and who Jesus is, I really, I've never been one to care intensely about peer pressure or stuff like that, So. Do you write your own stuff? Oh yeah. Yeah. Where does your I sound silly asking what's your biggest source of inspiration, because I know it's God, but I mean, what element of that spirituality and your journey do you think you kind of pull from most when you're writing? I mean, to be honest with you, that really just depends on the song that you're working on, and so through over the years, I've worked with producers, and I did a lot of production myself, and now I'm back to working with producers, and so nowadays, like, I'll come onto a track that somebody's produced, and that track will probably grab me in some sense. Okay. Usually for me, it's like just the melody just part of it, or the beat. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. No, literally it's the melody, but what I'm saying, if you want to be down, that beat is hot. That beat is hot. Melody. So, was it the melody? No pun intended. Yeah, no, it's all good. So, so if the beat's dope, it's speaking, and it's like, yo, that's tight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And a lot of times that will just inspire some type of hook. Yeah. And then so based upon that hook is where I'm going to have to draw. Am I drawing upon my past, or my emotions, or my relationships, my relationship to God? You know what I'm saying? So like the hook will drop, the beat will grab me, the hook will really, for me, lead the song. And so based upon, if the song's called Lost and Found, then I'm going to be talking about my past and being found in Christ. Or I got a new song that actually doesn't even have a hook, but this beat just like whoa! It's like, and then didn't let go. And so the song's going to be called 77. Okay. So this song is really just a testimonial song about from where I was from. I was born 77 through all the way up to the point of my conversion, my salvation. So the beat was just, to me, it was just a very emotional beat, and had a real old school 70s vintage vibe, and just like a funk, or like a or it's still very hip hop. No, it was more of like I would like to say hip hop meets the Doors. So interesting. I could let you listen to it if you want to listen to it, and so that for that song, just that beat just like spoke like emotionally to me, and it just said, Jay, tell your story. If it's convenient, you want to play a few seconds of it? We could do that. Definitely. So I mean, it just depends. To me, it depends on the song, the hook, and then that will determine what I'm drawing on. Because I get you. Yeah, I know everything's from God, but I'm with you. It's not always. I mean, I'm not always talking about, praying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every song has its own story
Right.
and purpose.
Right.
You know?
Because just like someone could speak about a love between two people
Yeah.
in so many different
Yes.
ways.
Yeah, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
can speak about your relationship with God, because that is a relationship. Every relationship's different, and you can speak about that in so many different ways. And so,
No, absolutely.
yeah, it's incredible. So tell me about some of your albums, and because I know you have a few albums out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was listening to a few of your songs. I was listening to Superstar, which I noticed is. To me, it sounded more soulful, and then shoot, of course I forgot the name. Sorry,
That's okay.
I feel like a
Don't
jerk.
have the names of my songs memorized? I'm
Such
outta
a
here.
jerk,
Outta
I
here.
know.
Interview is over.
I'll kick myself.
Over.
I'll kick myself. I wouldn't put,
all
and then
good.
Stand On It was a lot. It was like a harder, rougher
Yeah.
track, like a little more gritty.
Yeah. It's down south, hard hitting.
Yeah, and He Changed Me was very dancey. Like
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to stand up and just start like going at it and like having a good time. Yeah.
No,
wow.
you've done your
It was
research. You did it.
good.
No, I mean,
See, I pulled it back.
no, you pulled it back. No, but you know what? You hit like every track on the head. You hit every track on the head.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I was just kind of feeling out like music right now. I took a hiatus of about 4 years. And so when God called me back into music, and that's a whole nother story. We can get in, just
Yeah, please share everything.
it's rough. I got laid off from my job, and things were really bad, really rough, and I was honestly in a why God situation.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I think God spoke to me and He said, "I'll tell you why. I want you to focus on me." You know? I mean, you're Mr.
Yeah.
JDUB and things were going good and you got this, you got that, but you know what? I'm taking away everything so you will have the only thing that you need, and that's me.
Do you think at the time you were becoming too focused on yourself with how things were going? Things going well or what have you? Or
Well, I was getting, I think, a little too focused on success, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
And my music, I'd stopped doing my music, to be honest with you, because I personally was trying to go down more neutral venues and secular avenues, trying to be a positive influence, and it just wasn't where God wanted me. And I was rubbing elbows with, I don't want to name drop, but
Right,
some
right.
pretty.
the people that you thought you needed to rub elbows with.
You would know if I told you,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you off camera.
Of course, of course.
So, but it was, and I was trying to be a positive influence in bars and clubs and doing that scene, and if somebody's called to that, I'm not dissing your calling, but for me, it was negatively impacting me, and it was compromising me and putting me in very compromising and difficult situations that I didn't, in my opinion, buckle ultimately in those situations, but it was very difficult and not where I should have been. And I just said, you know what, I'm done with that. And I had 2 young kids, and so I said, you know what, I'm just going to focus on life and being a successful businessman and blah, blah, blah. And then after, I was done being successful, God said, okay, now I want you to focus on me. And so that was a hard time, but it was a shifting of my heart and my perspective, and it really got me back to where I needed to be. So that's when I started trying out new vibes to my
Yeah.
music. I started out with the dancey He Changed Me. I wanted to see how that got response, and then
I really loved it.
cool
Really loved it.
And a lot of people like it has a beat you could like work out to and stuff like that, and it was just a fun track.
It's just not something because I listen to a lot of Christian music, but it's not something I really have heard before. I
Yeah.
thought it was pretty unique.
Yeah, it was a fun track. I heard it, and the title was actually, my dad was a rock and roll musician.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, so I grew up around rock and roll. I grew up around, Steppenwolf and The Doors and all the 70s music. But the title of that beat was my dad's old, drummer name. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. So okay, it's got a little, that's it, get you going, right? And so that's how that song came about. And then after that, I wanted to try out something at that time was a little more I think, relative and current. And one of the producers I worked with just had that track. He was actually late sending me some other tracks and said, Jay, I apologize for being late. Go pick a free track. And so I said, anyone? He said, anyone. I said, even this one right here? I said, yeah, even one right here. And that's been, I think, that has been my most successful song thus far, is the Stand On It song. Well, how do you define success? But anyways, and so that was just a really song that came about through that.
Well, I think it's okay to define success of a song in a certain way when we're having a conversation about like the evolution of your career. So I think it's okay to define it that way for the purposes of that part of the conversation.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know. And then so when I got into Superstar, I wanted to do something that was very message oriented, not beat oriented, and not like relevant oriented, so it wasn't dancey and it wasn't hardcore. It was message focused, and I wanted it to appeal to the heart and speak a message of being a servant in Jesus Christ.
Is it tricky figuring out when, because I can see a scenario when you want to share a message with as many people as you can or what have you, and so it can be tricky saying, okay, I want to maybe gear my song towards a certain sound versus for that purpose versus I just want to be as authentic from the heart as I can be. How do you balance that?
No, that's a good question, and I think if I was to be honest about it, is that those who try to pander or cater towards audiences are those who ultimately lose their authenticity, right? So if you just speak to your heart, you're always going to be authentic. You may not be successful,
right,
but you'll always be authentic.
Right.
So, I think the place that I'm at is, my music is something that I'm proud of, and I've done my best to make it the best. But this is my 5th album, so I feel that.
What's it called?
The 5 album.
Oh, it was the 5. Okay.
This is the 5 album.
Okay.
And so I feel that I'm not, to be honest with you, really not trying to pander or cater towards anybody. I'm just making music from my heart that I enjoy, and I feel that glorifies God. If you like it, great. If you don't, there's plenty more music out in this world to listen to.
Yeah. Who do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of the hip hop Christian artists, CHH artists, Andy Mineo, Lecrae, all the 116 artists. Who else do I like? Surf Gang, their local down south crew.
Surf Gang. I don't think I know them.
They're pretty new. They're pretty new. They've just come on the scene. And there's a lot of indies that I like to listen to. Gemstone for Life. Shout out Gemstone for Life. What's up? Holla at your boy. Really good artist. But primarily I just listen to Christian hip hop.
I think I'm going to pull that quote you said a second ago about wanting to, I forget exactly how you said it, but basically wanting to inspire people to be their authentic self.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole purpose of what I'm doing with this podcast. I really want people to tap into what they truly makes them passionate and basically come alive and do it, right? Yeah. So I think I'm going to pull that quote. I think it was great.
Cool.
And what have you found to be just the most? Have you had like an experience of running into someone who's heard your music and told them what it's meant to them, and how has that been for you?
There's an article that you can pull that I did a while back, and a young lady, just shared with the reporter about the song I have called "The Key," which has never been officially released, and it will be released on the 5 album.
Okay.
But hearing her say that song like impacted her life.
How can you, right?
I'm good.
Right.
I'm done. That's good.
Yeah.
I make my music from my heart. The intention is to impact lives.
Yeah.
But to hear a person say that one song impacted my life and changed my life.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. Words can't express like this, wow, you know. And I've always felt, I know that like when I was growing up and listening to all the hip hop artists, you know, Naughty by Nature and Snoop and Dre and Eazy-E and all these people, and you know, I know that influenced me. And I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to be hard. I wanted to smoke. I wanted to drink. I wanted to party or whatever, you know. And I wanted to do those things, but that music encouraged me to do it more so, and made me feel good about doing it. And so, knowing that music influences people, I know that, and you can't say it doesn't, because even if you're going to make those choices without the music inspires you and encourages you. More in that path.
Music has been part of human history since forever. Yeah, you know,
it was a way of recording.
Yeah,
history,
telling stories and all of that. So it's absolutely
very powerful. So so I'm not sure where I was at.
Well, I will ask you, what do you think is how have you seen your music progression influencing your spiritual progression?
I think it's the opposite way around. I think my spiritual progression influences my music 200%.
Wow.
Yeah. That's definitely, because, you know, like I said, when I was at a place, and it, you know, it's very humbling, and I think almost embarrassing to feel that. I think there was almost, I don't want to say I was arrogant, but I think there was some arrogance going on where I thought, you know, my music was so good, I need to be out with these people and the mainstream, you know. And I think in Christianity, that's what we use to say being around with, you know, worldly people in the mainstream. Makes it sound so much, you know, instead of saying, over there with, you know, a bunch of drunken sinners, partiers, you know, it's in the mainstream. Yeah, it's the mainstream. When you can listen to, I think, if you listen to my album, the Hip Hop on Another Level, and then you go listen to, you know, the next was The Withering Tree, but that was an EP, and then after that you'll listen to, can't even think of the name of my own album, I Go Back. You'll hear a huge transition and a difference from here to here. And that was me and my music, not my music and me. And, you know, it was a push towards that mainstream, and, you know, ultimately that was not where I, you know, felt I needed to be, and so cut that off. But I think if you listen to that, you'll hear it. I mean, it's a definite distinction. You know, this is very gospel oriented. When I say gospel, not like, you know,
right. Gospel,
I mean,
like
the message.
yeah.
The message, you can hear that. Whereas on the I Go Back album, the message is there, but it's going to be, you know, a little more, you know, just not like up in your face, you know, all the time. As this, I hate to say the word up in your face, but it's just more clear, I think, and you'll see that. And now you'll see the progression of my spiritual life on the 5 album. And I mean, it's clear where I'm at, and I talk about where I've been, you know, and where I am today and why I'm there.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. In fact, when I listened to the songs that I listened to, I was like, I just wanted more. So
Praise God.
I'm really looking forward to hearing
Praise
it.
God.
When you were first deciding to transition to becoming a Christian artist, and you ended up having to part ways with the manager you had at the time, how did you then figure out or find the right people to work with? How do you go about doing that, and how do you still do that today? How do you find the right collaborators and all of that?
Well, I think, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, today is like, in my opinion, like crazy easy. It's like, I mean, just for me, every time I turn around, 3,000 people are saying, you know, they're a Christian producer or a Christian hip hop artist. I mean, it's, you know, you got, you know, God bless Lecrae. Lecrae is massive. He's on BET, he's on MTV. So so it's like, now it's the it thing right now. You know, if you're a Christian, it's okay, it's cool. So there's a bazillion of them. But, you know, after I made that step and said, this is the direction I wanted to take, you know, there definitely wasn't the venue that there is now, for sure.
But even in this expanded venue, I mean, you think about like a country singer, right? There are tons of country artists and producers and that type of thing, but they still have to find the right people who share their voice, share their vision. And how do you sift through the people, all the people who might say, hey, raise their hand and say, yes, me, and choose and figure out who to work with,
For the most part, I'll be honest with you, like, and I don't want to sound over spiritual, but, you know,
sound as spiritual as you want.
Well, but at the same time, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I am not a perfect dude. You can ask my kids; they'll tell you. You know, my dad's got faults by the dozens. You know.
And furthermore, lady, let me tell you what else.
Matter of fact, how about you don't talk to my kids? But you know, I
3 hours later.
Yeah, 3 hours. And then when we're at the stoplight, he said, but you know, God is just really, if you're seeking after Him, okay, this is what I've found, and this is what I've found in His Word that He's done with His followers, is that, you know, those who are meant to be on this journey with you will come alongside, and those who come alongside of you that aren't meant to be there, that He'll remove them. You know, and it might be painful. That removal might be painful, and you might have to learn a lesson. It might take a while, but sooner or later you'll figure it out, and God will show you, and hopefully you'll obey and say, yeah, that's not the kind of people I need to be with. This is the kind of person I need to be with. And you know, with my music, you know, I've just had some good connections with good people, and you know, they're not famous, they're not huge, but they're good people. They're God-honoring, God-fearing, God-loving, and they made some dope beats. And there was just a connection, and God made the connection.
And that's who you need to focus on. That's good, because, oh my gosh, the worst is when you chase after someone because of who they are, how grand they are on the platform or whatever, and those are the type of relationships that fall apart very quickly.
Yeah, they're hollow. Very
quickly, so.
And that's one thing that when I got back into the music after the hiatus, you know, I told the Lord, you know, I said, God, I don't know what you want me to do. At that point, I wasn't sure if I was doing back music, if I was going to go full-time ministry or, you know, in a church or whatever it was going to be. I said, God, I don't know what you want me to do. I got nothing right now, literally. And it was a while. I was out of work for like a year. It was rough. And I said, God, I don't know what you want to do with me, and I don't know what you want me to do. But whatever it is, I don't want to do it on my own and my own strength. I'm going to depend on you 100%. And if it's not from you, I don't want it. The 5 album has been fully funded by God.
Wow.
I have not. My other previous projects, I put funding in there like you wouldn't believe.
I do believe. I know musicians. I do believe. I know musicians. I know artists. I do believe.
Off the camera, I'll tell you some of those numbers. Okay. And then after you wake up, you know, it's like. But on the 5 album, I said, God, maybe you're gonna. I like I said, I didn't know what He was gonna do with me.
Yeah.
And soon after that, I felt the calling to go back into music. I said, well, Lord, if Christian hip hop is what you want me to do, then, you know, I'm going to trust you to provide for it, and I'm not going to try to make anything happen. And it was probably about like, you know, a few weeks later, this producer is giving me free beats. This television show is having me on TV out in Texas. Wow. You know, I'm flying out to Wisconsin to be in a festival, and I'm broke. I'm out of a job, and I'm flying to Texas and Wisconsin. And
unbelievable. He answered your call,
and so
you answered his.
That's what this project is all about. Is just my, you know, trying to be obedient in every aspect of my life, and hopefully it'll the content and the lyric and the music will reflect that and reflect God's spirit.
What's it like being on stage and singing one of your songs, performing one of your songs, and seeing the crowd be moved? Seeing that and feeling that energy in that room, or
Yeah, I mean, it's a physical and emotional response that, every artist, whether you're Christian or not, you get on stage and you get the energy. It's a great feeling. Nothing compares to presenting the gospel at a show and seeing a heart respond to that, to Jesus. I've been performing my whole life, and outside of God and in the mainstream or secular, whatever you want to call it, and in Christianity, you get on the stage, you hype the crowd, you do the thing, and you bring them on an emotional journey. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
But only God can grab someone's heart and take them from where they are and then bring them to new life in Christ and see a life transformed. And that's, and I don't care if if that happens at a concert, praise God, or if that happens with me interacting with people, just on my day-to-day basis in my life.
Yeah.
That's what is amazing to me,
But
only God can do that.
Yeah, so tell me about like that first trip to Wisconsin, that first performance and all that. Was that your first big performance, or was it
Getting
was it
back
the
into
first?
the industry? That was my first big performance. I just went out there and God opened the door. I can't remember everything that happened. It was an event called Life Fest, and provided the funds, I think, through people that just believed in me and wanted to see me, do my ministry, and flew out there. It wasn't, grandiose. I think I slept on a guy's floor one night and, slept in some, dude's hotel room and shared a bed with another guy. It just, you just made it happen.
What's not grandiose about that? I don't see the problem.
I don't know. But, and that's just musical life, right? That happens all the time.
Right.
It was surreal. I knew it was God because I wasn't doing it, and that's what was important to me, is if God is doing it. Because human beings and we can make things happen, but when God makes it happen, that's when you're in the right place.
I've definitely had some, countless moments where I'm just like, there's no other explanation.
Yeah.
It's so bold-faced obvious to me that it was God.
Yeah.
That I wish more hearts were open to that. Because I think it happens for everybody, but not everybody sees it.
No,
and
absolutely.
It's when you see it is when that emotion strikes you, and it's overpowering. It's incredible. A quick little thing. I was pregnant, single, by myself, getting ready to be kicked out of my apartment, and during that whole pregnancy, and I lost my job for quote unquote financial reasons. Okay, and yet God put me in the right place at the right time to get a part-time position that paid enough money that I could scrape by, work from home, give myself the freedom to figure out all the other stuff I had to figure out at that time in my life. And I was literally 3 days from being on the street, and the next day I was in my own apartment, 2-bedroom,
Yeah,
so
amen.
It was those things that happened, and it was like, I have tons of stories like that, and it's just undeniable. And I think about, because I came to know God in my early 20s, and I think about how many times did things like that happen, and I absolutely refused to see it.
To acknowledge it,
Refused to see it. So I think it's wonderful if you're able to help other people break down that wall and have those moments. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely golden. So how does a Christian artist, and maybe this goes back to what you're saying with, Christian artists now being on BET and everything else, but how does a Christian artist get on VH1?
Oh,
I saw that you were on VH1. I'm like, what is that? I have to ask about that.
That's during the I Go Back years. It was just, they had like this freestyle thing that was going on for, MCs, send in your best freestyle lyrics, whatever, blah blah blah. And so I just did it, and submitted it and blah blah blah, and it was pretty cool because Chuck, you know who Chuck D is, Public Enemy. So he's on there. He's on VH1 News talking about what it means to be a true, MC, true artist and freestyler. Boom. Cut to JDUB's clip.
What?
And it was just amazing to.
What?
It was.
That was his. What? That was like an intro to you, or do you think it was just the? It was just the.
They used my. They used my my video to display
as an example.
Artistry. Yeah. And so
That's
it's pretty amazing.
It
was pretty amazing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I wish I had a copy of it, but
Yeah. And I know that you've opened for some other artists and stuff. What have been some of your fun moments like that?
I think one of the funnest artists that I got to open for was Fireflight. They're a rock band, and that was just a really live concert, and that was fun. I think every show has its own uniqueness. If you go out there and have fun, whether it's 2,000 people or 20 people, I mean, you always have a good time as long as you got a good attitude.
At your show, at the shows that you have opened for people, though, do you ever get to like talk to them and meet them? Is it
sure.
very
Yeah.
Has there been an artist that's surprised you on a personal level when you met them? Yeah. Can you share or no? Okay, well, I want to ask you.
Now you're digging, and I'm just gonna stay quiet.
That's my job.
Now you're digging, and I'm not gonna say.
That's gonna be another.
Nothing.
Is it another off-camera moment, or is that a no lips forever sealed moment?
That's no lips forever sealed. Yeah.
Moving on. I fully 100% respect you and respect that decision. And I noticed that your music's been downloaded as far as like Japan and Australia.
Yeah, that's neat. I think over in Japan they have like a culture that likes to download obscure music. I'm dead serious. Dead serious, because they bought the 5 album like crazy.
Really?
I mean, they were restocking the physical CD. It's just cool.
Wow.
That's cool. I think as an artist, that's something, and that's something that's unique to our generation, is that we can go global. It's no big thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, and so whenever I get notifications or where my music is selling, and when I see it's in Europe, or I see it's in Canada, or I see it's in South America, it's just, I don't know, that's a really neat feeling. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm local dude, and every local artist can do this nowadays, but it's just still neat to see that and see people outside of your country, downloading your music, listen to it.
Of course.
Yeah, hopefully they like it.
Well, so
they paid
awesome
for it, so.
I mean, hopefully they told their friends about it. I mean, somebody's making them have to keep restocking the shelves, right? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. Very cool. And would you say if someone's looking to kind of hear your music for the first time, do you still have the 5 album sampler available, or is that?
That comes and goes. I'm out of them right now.
Okay.
So, in fact, I just need to update my website because I think I'm going to stop selling it because I just want to wait for the album to drop, hopefully this year. That's the goal. That's the goal, man.
Well, we will be anticipating that a lot because I really want to hear it. And and I guess my last question is, so I know your brother, dragged you along kicking and screaming, or he was screaming and you were trying your best.
He was violently threatening me, but yes, go ahead.
So, he was if not the driving force for you to come into this new life. So as you're creating your music and everything, and as you're in your mid-30s and you have kids and everything, and you're performing for people, what do you see as a goal for yourself as a role model?
I think that's just, I feel that hopefully I'm displaying that we all need to be putting God first in our lives. After God comes your family. After family comes your job, whatever it is to make money, provide, as a man. And then after that, once you've taken care of God, you're right with God, you're good with your family, you're providing, then go out and do your ministry. And so to me, it's important to reflect that. And I've been told over the years, and it's a blessing to me whenever I hear somebody say, man, I just see, on Instagram, you being a father to your children. And family's very important. It's huge to me. That was one of my goals, is to be a good dad. Don't know if I'm doing that all the time, kids.
I still have to have that conversation with your children. I don't know.
Exactly. I'm sure they could tell you some things. But, when I step back and I look at my children and what they've been able to accomplish, on a personal level, on a spiritual level, on an academic level, on an athletic level, on a musical level, it blows my mind. And I'm blessed that I've been able to keep that commitment to trying to honor my family. I've seen ministers and pastors and preachers over the years, unfortunately, divorced, or I've met their children, and their children are miserable, and they've told me, as a child, as a young believer, they're like, whatever you do, don't go to full-time ministry. It's horrible. And
wow.
Yeah, it's so, to me, to sacrifice
That's disheartening, yeah.
to sacrifice your family to obtain your quote, air quotes, ministry goals. Whoa, brother, time out.
Yeah.
You got it backwards. Your family is a ministry.
Yeah.
And if you're not ministering there, you have no right to go out and build some type of ministry.
Right.
So I've always tried to stay focused on God, focused on my family, and if I can do anything above and beyond that, it's only going to be by God's grace. And so if I can be a role model to people in that aspect, saying, hey, look, we need to be there for our family. We need to be putting Jesus first in everything. If that's what you get from seeing my life and my music and my social media, then I'm doing what I intended to.
I notice you're a really good listener too. Have people shared stories with you about their relationships with God has that influenced your music?
Anytime somebody gets to share that opportunity and pour into you what God has done for them, and spend that time where they, like you were sharing your story with me. I mean, that's just a huge blessing. So anytime that we share our faith with each other and say, this is what God did for me, I think, to me, to hear you saying that, it just blesses me and encourages me that I'm not alone in this walk, and another sister in the Lord has seen God work in her life. We're not alone. It's true. He's true. And that's refreshing and reminding and strengthening to me. So I'm not going to say I'm the best listener in the world, but I get the message out of hearing your story or hearing someone else's story, and that is a definite place of inspiration. The scripture says, as iron sharpens iron, so does one believer sharpen another.
So this album you're hoping to get out this year.
Hoping.
How do we keep up on it, and how do we get it when it comes out? Like, anticipation.
Okay. All that good stuff. So, well, on my website, I do have a mailing list that I send out devotionals and I send out updates. So if you're on the mailing list, you will get the up-to-date latest. I tell you when I've been in the studio, I tell you when I've worked on a new project, I tell you when I'm been hanging out with a new artist, or if I got a show coming up, or what happened at the last show. Excuse me. And so the mailing list is probably your best way to keep up.
Okay.
With everything, to get
and the
free
website
stuff.
Is JDUB561?
Yeah, www.jdub561.com. And I use that for all my social media. So if you just type in JDUB561 in Google, and bloop, you'll get my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, my website,
Okay.
JDUB561.
What was that again?
JDUB561.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
I don't know why I look at the microphone. Hello, internet listeners.
And you called it a camera like twice.
Like 25 times. It's a microphone, not a camera. Sorry.
It's all good. I'm just really glad I have this microphone, because my normal one had 2 bars of batteries this morning and it's somehow dead. So, yeah.
See, and I was so confused because I'm looking at this one, but I'm talking into this one.
I should have put it away.
Hello over there.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to sitting and talking with you again after your album drops and catching up and everything. And I think what you're doing is inspiring in so many levels. I think for spiritual and non-spiritual alike, I think just stepping out and doing what moves you inside is a huge thing for people to have enough bravery to do, and whether that bravery comes from a relationship with God or whatever they can pull it from. But I think on the other side of it, the fact that you are doing it with God and not afraid to speak your faith and share it, I think it's a beautiful thing. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you very much.
Yay! JDUB, do you want to sign the guest book?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
You have successfully curved the cube.
Okay. Your man JDUB is back! High Enterprise Productions, baby! We gon' stand on it! Yeah!
I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track. I'll do it for the Lord, and ain't no holding back. I'ma stand on it, yeah. I'ma stand on it. Don't just wanna land on it, praying I can slam on it like I was golden and vivid, fresh out the dream team. But this ain't no dream, see, Christ is my reality. Casualties happen because of my infidelities. To me, I'm infidelities. All I know is sin disease racing through my body like Charlie in the movie Legacy. Hold the seat, me, JDUB, kicked out of school once, kicked out of school twice. Had a problem with fighting, cause I used to like to fight. But the problem was deeper, cause my mind wasn't right. So every teacher tried to reach me, just couldn't do it right. Until the very night I met that teacher called Christ. Now I hold nothing back, take a stand on this track. Disrespected for the low, but I counted all stacks. Take a stand on it, yeah. I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track, I'ma stand on this track. I'll do it for the Lord, and ain't no holding back. I'ma stand on it.